In Seoul, South Korea, Jung-ho, who is a former detective turned pimp, asks one of his workers to meet a customer on the highway. That's where the customer wants to meet, and not at his own home. After meeting there, the customer takes the sex worker to his house for the job. Although risky, this is their way of doing things. Unfortunately this time, the sex worker doesn't come back to Jung-ho after going into the customer's house. Jung-ho worries she might have run away or been kidnapped, and this is the second time his worker has disappeared like this. If this keeps happening, his business might go bankrupt. So, Jung-ho decides to find his missing worker. However, all he discovers is his worker's abandoned car on the side of the road in Mangwon district. She left her car there for many possible reasons, but Jung-ho thinks she may have betrayed him for a better job. He's furious and determined to teach her a lesson, but with few leads, he returns to his office. There, he receives a customer's call requesting a woman. He quickly fulfills the request. However, his assistant Oh-jut informs him that the new customers keep rejecting the women he sends, claiming they don't meet his preferences. Jung-ho calls Mi-jin, another girl, to avoid disappointing the customer and tells her to work despite being sick. Mi-jin initially refuses, but Jung-ho pressures her. This leaves Mi-jin's young daughter alone at home. When Jung-ho returns to his office, he becomes curious about the customer rejecting the women. He notices a phone number ending in 4885, and it seems familiar. Checking his notebook, he realizes that this phone number had contacted his office before. He was the one who ordered the two women who had disappeared before. Suspecting that this man had kidnapped his workers, Jung-ho calls Mi-jin and asks her to text him her customer's address when she arrives at his place. He believes this could help him catch the person responsible for hurting his business. With this in mind, he gets into his car and drives to the Mangwon district, hoping Mi-jin will send him the address soon. At the same time, Mi-jin arrives at the customer's house, but she senses something is wrong with her customer based on Jung-ho's tone and words during their phone conversation. As soon as she exits the car, she carefully checks the house's address. Upon entering the house, she requests to use the bathroom, claiming she wants to freshen up. However, her real intention in the bathroom is to message Jung-ho about the customer's address secretly. Unfortunately, the cell phone signal is very poor. To make things worse, she discovers a clump of blood-covered hair on the bathroom floor, confirming her suspicions that her customer isn't just a guy seeking pleasure and company. He's dangerous. Despite the danger she faces, Mi-jin tries to remain calm. She wets her hair to make it seem like she just showered and then leaves the bathroom. She asks permission to retrieve a condom from her car, but escaping isn't easy. The customer, named Young-min, has locked all the doors in the house, leaving her practically trapped. He restrains her and intends to kill her using a chisel. However, Mi-jin's survival instinct kicks in. She struggles, causing the chisel to miss its target and even accidentally injure Young-min's thumb. Losing patience, Young-min abandons the chisel and strikes Mi-jin's head with a hammer. He prepares for another blow, but suddenly a bell rings. Uninvited guests have arrived, disrupting his plans. It turns out the place he lives in isn't his own. He killed the owner, who is a nearby church member, and took over the house. Worried friends of the owner came to check on him after not seeing him for days. Young-min realizes they might be suspicious if he sends them away. To deflect suspicion, he pretends to be a relative of the house owner. He invites the guests inside and then brutally kills them with the hammer. To further dismiss the neighbor's suspicions, he takes the guest's car to dispose of it. Meanwhile, Jung-ho is still waiting for Mi-jin's text message, which never arrives. So, he decides to search the Mangwon district while asking locals for information. It's during this search that he accidentally collides with Young-min's car. Jung-ho feels guilty for not driving carefully and accidentally hitting Young-min's car. He approaches Young-min to get his contact information for insurance purposes. However, when he sees fresh blood on Young-min's shirt, Jung-ho becomes suspicious. His suspicion deepens when Young-min refuses to share his cell phone number. Jung-ho calls the mysterious customer's number to confirm his suspicions, and Young-min's phone rings. Young-min chooses to flee, and Jung-ho decides to chase him. After an intense chase, Jung-ho catches Young-min. He's furious and physically assaults him. After beating and kicking Young-min, Jung-ho plans to take him to show where he's holding Mi-jin. However, a police officer stops Jung-ho when he sees how badly injured Young-min is. The officer becomes suspicious of Jung-ho, especially since he can't show any identification, leading to both Jung-ho and Young-min being taken to the police station. Initially, Jung-ho didn't want to reveal that he was a pimp looking for his missing worker. Instead, he hoped his friend Gil-woo, a police officer in the Central Police Force, could help him. However, Gil-woo was occupied with an important assignment involving the mayor, who was attacked at a market. Eventually, Jung-ho decides to tell the police everything, including his role as a pimp and his suspicion that Young-min had kidnapped and sold his workers. Upon hearing this shocking accusation, the police question Young-min directly. Surprisingly, Young-min confesses not to kidnapping sex workers, but to murdering them and other people. His total murder count is 9 victims. This revelation causes chaos at the police station. Gil-woo eventually arrives to release Jun-ho and take Young-min to the Central Police Force's headquarters for further investigation. Jun-ho is also asked to go to the Central Police Force's headquarters. As Jun-ho heads to his car, he notices the unlocked car that Young-min is driving. Curious, he gets inside and finds numerous keys. He believes one of these keys might unlock Young-min's house or hiding place. So, he calls Oh-jot and asks him to use these keys to search Young-min's residence, even though it's challenging given that the district is wide. However, Oh-jot accepts the assignment without complaints, as he doesn't want to disobey his boss's orders. Jun-ho heads to the Central Police Force's headquarters, where Gil-woo questions Young-min. Young-min shockingly admits to killing 11 people, excluding Mi-jin, who he believes is still alive. He initially claimed to have killed 9, but this number increased when he murdered 2 friends of the homeowner. Despite his confession, Young-min refuses to reveal his address or where he buried the bodies. He tells the police that his address matches the one on his ID card, even though he hasn't lived there long. Jun-ho doubts that Young-min has killed anyone, let alone 11 people. He still believes Young-min kidnapped and sold his workers, and his main concern is getting his workers back to save his business. Interrogating Young-min doesn't yield results, so Gil-woo suggests that Jun-ho accompany a forensic officer to Mi-jin's place to collect a hair sample. This hair sample could be used for a DNA test to determine if the blood on Young-min's shirt matches Mi-jin's. However, Jun-ho and the police are unaware that the blood on Young-min's shirt is actually his own, splattered during his incident with Mi-jin, as well as the blood of 2 of the house owner's friends. Despite this misunderstanding, they proceed to Mi-jin's apartment, where they unexpectedly find Mi-jin's daughter, Yoonji. Jun-ho, who had no prior knowledge of Mi-jin having a daughter, decides to take care of Yoonji, showing compassion. He even feeds her at a restaurant. After visiting Mi-jin's apartment, Jun-ho receives a call from Oh-jot, who informs him that he found a house that can be unlocked with one of the keys provided by Jun-ho. However, upon arriving at the home, they find nothing of use. When they exit, they encounter a suspicious-looking house owner who promptly flees upon seeing Jun-ho, leading to another chase. After a lengthy run, Jun-ho and Oh-jot manage to catch the man, whom Jun-ho then interrogates. The man claims to have been Young-min's former cellmate during Young-min's 3-year imprisonment for lobotomizing his own nephew. After his release, Young-min stays at the man's house for 2 weeks and leaves with the man's tools. The man finds Young-min odd, especially as he painted disturbing religious drawings on his walls without permission. During Jun-ho's interrogation at the man's house, Yoonji remains in the car with Oh-jot. Exhausted, Oh-jot falls asleep, leaving Yoonji unattended. As she watches a woman passing by the car, Yoonji senses a resemblance to her mother. Yoonji quietly leaves the car without waking Oh-jot and follows the woman. Unfortunately, she has an accident and falls unconscious in an alley. Later, Jun-ho finishes interrogating the man and returns to his car, only to discover Oh-jot sleeping inside. He wakes Oh-jot, and they both search for Yoonji. They eventually find her injured and unconscious. Jun-ho rushes her to the hospital without hesitation and covers all the medical expenses. Jun-ho is now furious and deeply concerned about Mi-jin's safety. He knows Young-min can take lives, so he returns to the police station. There, he confronts Young-min, demanding information about Mi-jin's whereabouts and the burial sites of his victims. Gil-woo and the other officers, who have just returned from searching for the bodies, allow Jun-ho to do as he pleases with Young-min. After a brutal interrogation, Young-min finally reveals an address supposedly holding the buried bodies. The police promptly rush to this address, which is Young-min's former workplace. Despite extensive research, they found neither bodies nor any evidence. Jun-ho realizes that Young-min has provided false information, suspecting that the address, Mangwon 893-1, is far from where he initially met Young-min. It wouldn't make sense for him to transport corpses over long distances without anyone noticing. Meanwhile, at the police station, the prosecutor discovers Young-min seriously injured and demands his release due to insufficient evidence of murder. The prosecutor also insists on the arrest of those who assaulted Young-min. To avoid further embarrassment following the previous incident with the mayor, the police chief complies with all the prosecutor's requests. They arrest Jun-ho and take him to the police station despite his resistance. During transport, Jun-ho attacks the officers guarding him, causing the vehicle to crash into a tree. He then overpowers one of the officers, who agrees to remove his handcuffs. The officer informs Jun-ho that Young-min has been released. Upon hearing this, Jun-ho races back to the Mangwon district to pursue Young-min. He doesn't know where to find him but can't afford to waste any time. He's convinced that Mi-jin is still alive and needs to be saved. Jun-ho's intuition proves accurate as Mi-jin regains consciousness in a bloodied bathroom, suffering from a hammer blow to the head. Using a shard of glass from the bathroom floor, she frees herself from her bindings and escapes through a window. Seeking help at a nearby shop, the owner calls the police and tends to her injuries. While waiting for the police, Mi-jin attempts to call Jun-ho using the shop owner's phone, but goes unnoticed as Jun-ho is focused on evading capture. Young-min arrives in the neighborhood before Jun-ho and enters the shop where Mi-jin is hiding. Unaware of Youngmin's true nature, the shop owner believes he can protect them and informs him about the bloodied woman she's sheltering. Youngmin quickly realizes the woman is Mi-jin and requests a hammer from the shop owner under the pretense of needing a weapon for protection. After obtaining the hammer, Youngmin mercilessly kills both the shop owner and Mi-jin and escapes through the backroom's window, escaping the detectives who arrive at the scene later. Junho runs around the district, eventually encountering a group of police officers gathered in a shop, including Gil-woo. When Junho sees Gil-woo's expression, he instantly understands what's happening. He desperately tries to enter the shop to confirm his fears, but the police officers prevent him despite his tears and pleas. Junho returns to the hospital, where Yoonji is receiving treatment. He stands by her bedside, contemplating how to break the tragic news of her mother's death. He doesn't spend a long time in the hospital. Instead, he asks Oh-jut to look after Yoonji while he heads to the shop where the terrible incident occurred. At the shop, he notices a phone lying on the floor, sparking hope that Mi-jin may have tried to contact him. Indeed, he finds a heart-wrenching voicemail from Mi-jin on his cell phone. She expresses her desire to quit the sex work and pleads with him to allow her to escape the terrifying life she leads. Hearing Mi-jin's final plea, Junho makes a firm decision. He can't let a man like Youngmin roam freely. He feels obliged to find and kill him, no matter the cost. During his search, Junho comes across a church with a cross that has a striking resemblance to one of Youngmin's paintings. He questions one of the priests about Youngmin, confirming that he has crafted the church's cross. The priest also mentions a church member who has been missing for some time. Junho assumes that the missing person could be one of Youngmin's victims. He asks the priest for the missing person's address and swiftly arrives at the location. Standing before the house gate, Junho recalls the keys he has discovered in Youngmin's car. He tests several keys and successfully unlocks the gate. Junho then contacts Gil-woo to disclose Youngmin's address, planning to arrest or kill him. Upon entering the courtyard, Junho confronts Youngmin, who chooses to stand his ground this time. Their fierce encounter results in Junho gaining the upper hand initially. However, Junho shortly stops his assault when he notices an aquarium containing Mi-jin's head, a horrifying sight he has never witnessed before. With Junho shocked and stunned, Youngmin has the chance to strike back. Youngmin swiftly grabs a golf club and uses it to injure Junho's leg. In the end, Junho turns the tables, grabbing Youngmin's hammer and preparing to end his life. However, the police arrive, preventing Junho from killing Youngmin, who is arrested for multiple murders. Important evidence is found, as Youngmin has been burying his victims' bodies in the yard. In the final scene of the movie, Junho sits quietly beside Yoonji in her hospital room, gently holding her hand. His gesture hints at his desire to adopt Yoonji, now that she is all alone in her life. What a terribly tragic movie. What did you guys think of this movie?
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.